top, that first scripture at the top of page 58, please?
No weapon that is formed against you will prevail, and you will condemn every tongue that rises against you in judgment. This is the heritage of Yahweh's servants and their righteousness of me, says Yahweh. Isaiah 54:17.
What does that mean? Somebody tell me what that means.
Well, it means that whatever the enemy tries to put against you, it will not prevail. And we have the power to rise against whatever he tries to do, because we're righteous. He's giving us through Christ, he's given us the power to live righteous and holy. And we just have to be able to walk in the power.
Yes, yes, and yes. I'd like you to take your handy dandy highlighter or pencil, and I'd like you to highlight, you will condemn every tongue that rises against you in judgment. And then I'd like you to underline where it says, righteousness is of me, says Yahweh. Then circle where it says, no weapon formed against me will prevail. No weapon formed against you will prevail. Circle that. We hear that term a lot. I see it in movies, t-shirts.
Excuse me, Michelle, I finally got on. So can you tell me where you at?
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad you're able to get on. We're on page 58 and we're at the top. The first verse that says Isaiah 54:17. I'm glad you were able to get on. Hopefully Tina will be able to get back on.
Thank you. Okay, because you know it was hard for me, right?
Well, I'm glad you were able to get on. Good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're circling where it says no weapon that is formed against you will prevail. You may have read it where it says no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Why is that an empowering statement for the Christian?
We're dealing with a lot of weapons. We're dealing with a lot of adversity. The enemy's constantly coming at us. And even when we're in the midst of whatever he's trying to do, we have to believe that we have the victory over it, even in the midst of it.
Yes, 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 and yes. Why is it important that when I'm on my job and my boss has lost their ever-loving mind and they're driving me crazy and I'm ready to go, okay, I'm gonna go postal in here in about 2 seconds. Why is it that that verse should offer me hope? It should offer me peace. It should offer me endurance. Why?
I say because we belong to him and he's not going to let anything come against us that is not of him, that he didn't create.
So
therefore we can take solace in the fact that you don't bother me. I know who I belong to, so you're not going to bother me. I might get a little ruffled on the inside, but
that's what I was getting ready to say. What do we do about the part where you get a little ruffled? Because it don't come out like that, Yinka. It don't come out like that.
That's when you have to stop yourself,
right,
from reacting. That's that power. It's like, Lord, help me, please. I'm not trying to go to jail. I'm not trying to catch a case. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's child. I know this is your child, but this child right here
is about to get it. Yep. Yes. Okay.
But see, Vidia and I told y'all we kindred spirits, Vidia and I, right? Okay. So in the midst of that verse, I can hold on to, because not only is it just what Yinka said, I can say I know who I belong to, but I can also say, remember when we said last week, you don't stop no show? They tried to change the names of what was it? They wanted to change it to Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. And what's the other? I forgot his Daniel's name that they wanted to give him. But God came right back and called them by their given names. He came right back in and said, but that's the Babylonian name. I'm recognizing them as my children, right? So even when we've got that sister that we just hate to see her coming because we're like, she got one more again, y'all, just one more. And we're gonna have some problems. I can look at this verse and say, you know what, God, I can pray for her because I belong to you. That means that you about to handle this. That's why Jesus was praying for his enemies, because he got it. Even when they were spitting upon him, stabbing him, put the nails in his hands and everything, he's praying for these people. And you would say, I'd be praying that God just sends down a lightning bolt and just kill everybody, right? But he's like, they don't understand. They don't understand the repercussions of what they're doing. For those of you who are mothers on here, think about how you would react if somebody was hurting your baby. You see somebody doing something to your child, and I mean, I have seen mamas do some remarkable things to protect their kids. And you're a human. How much more would the creator of all move heaven and hell to protect his children? So he's saying, she's the weapon that's been formed against you by the enemy. Well, you ain't got to worry about her. She can't prevail against you because you mine. And anything that I permit her to do in your life is because I'm about to bring you someplace else. I'm about to grow you up. I'm about to use this very person to bless you, and she don't even know it yet. So we can use this verse, and it can give us power. It can set our mind right, because y'all, Vidia, I know nobody else, because everybody else on here, you know, they good Christian women that don't do no wrong. But Sister Vidia, I think you can understand. We might have a little bit of trouble when we got that girl in our face going off, and we just like, Lord, just keep my mouth shut.
Yes.
Just, or hubby. Let's not forget about the hubby.
Let's not go there. We're not gonna go there right now. No, ma'am.
Let's not forget about the hubbies.
No, we're not gonna go there.
Hey, we gotta go there. That hubby that has now become the weapon that is formed against you. I can take that brother and I can say, I need to get on my knees before God about him. Because if not, I'm gonna wait till he go to sleep and chop him up into itty bitty little pieces, put him in an envelope and mail him home to his mom. So that's, you know.
Or you can just go in the kitchen and start praying and baking until, you know, it goes away.
Why you?
I'm just
That's
saying.
why you teach it. Why you
I'm
gotta go
just
there?
saying.
Why you
I'm just saying.
She trying to put my business on Front Street. See, this. You know what, Yinka? I'm not messing with you today. I am not messing with you today. Okay. Even with our husbands, guess what? Our kids can become that weapon that's formed against us. Did you want to say something to that, Miss Latasha?
I didn't hear you what you said.
Did you want to comment?
Oh, no.
Okay. Even our kids can be that weapon that's formed against us. And you say, how can my kid be the weapon that's formed against me? You think about it. Our kids have our heart. They can be, the enemy can use them to get to us in ways that he can't use anything else to get to us. Y'all.
Yep.
Are you ready for this one? Mamas and daddies can be used as that weapon against us. You call your mama and you like, okay, see, Lord, you said that I need to honor my mama and my daddy, and this is a hard one. You know, she talking crazy on the phone. Lord, help me to do what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, the thing about Christianity is we got to get out of the textbook idea of the Christian walk and get into the realism of the Christian walk.
That's it.
I need to remember no weapon that is formed against me will prosper in the midst of I'm at the grocery store and Home Skillet just called me a nigger. That's when I need to know that scripture. That's when I need to remember that. Okay, Lord, this is the weapon that the enemy has brought before me today. Help me to remember that no weapon, he didn't say some. I love the fact that he didn't say some or couple or weapons in this way won't be formed against you. He said no weapons will be formed against you, will prosper.
Will
Yes,
prosper.
Letitia's so polite. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, a lot of times we gotta realize that just because this thing or this person or this situation is irritating our flesh, we don't want to react and do something that's gonna mess with our spirit. The flesh is okay, that's just what it is. But we don't want to do something that's gonna create that separation of whoever's listening or hearing or seeing. Oh, okay, another hypocrite. Okay, we have to.
Yes, but we have to get to the point where we start to get our flesh and our spirit in alignment. If you treat them separately, in the Bible where they talk about that the flesh is always warring against the spirit, that's because those are two separate entities. When we start to bring them into alignment with each other, I can tell you from firsthand experience, because I do have a bad temper. I will admit that. But I can honestly say God has brought me in places and I sat back and said, oh, Lord, you have grown me up because, baby, if this person had caught me a couple of years ago, this would not have gone this way. Because he brought my spirit and my flesh into alignment with one another. Well, I'm still mad. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still upset. I'm still angry. But he has said, I'm going to allow you to bring those two things into alignment. Because what we don't realize is that our spirit is actually more powerful than our flesh.
Oh, yeah.
So when we allow our spirit and our flesh to get in alignment with one another for the glory of God. And we don't want the spirit and the flesh to get in alignment, outside of God, because that's when we get in trouble. We don't want that part. Okay. But when we get them into alignment with God, all of a sudden the spirit takes over. And that's when when I say stuff has to make it from my head to my heart, that's when the spirit's talking to my head. Now, sis, you can't do that. You just can't do that. God said to honor your husband. You're not going to honor your husband if you say what's in your head right now. So keep your mouth shut. Sis, yes, she just cut you off in the middle of traffic, almost slammed into your car, but you cannot respond that way. My flesh is not changed. I'm still upset. I'm still thinking,
But you could be upset, but sin not.
Yes, 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 and yes. That's why it's important to remember this. Because remember when Letitia said a while ago that Satan, we show him how to come at us?
Yep.
Guess what? When he prevails against us, it's because we've allowed him to. We've given that power over to him to allow him to do that. When we go back to Sister Eve, right? She already had everything. Everything that he was talking about was already hers, right? She willingly gave it to him. So what are the things that we willingly give? Peace, joy, happiness, power. I love it when Michelle said that it's our power. He gives us the power to overcome, right? Well, I give my power over to him when I don't allow him to work it out for my benefit. Because sometimes, God, you think about Brother Job, he had to let Job go through some stuff.
Yes.
He had to let him just, I know this is bad, baby, and this is gonna sting and this is gonna hurt, but I need to get you to another place. I'm bringing you to another spot. So in order for me to get you where you need to be, I'm gonna have to let the enemy just reign right now.
My God.
You think about Jesus on the cross. Who would think you saw this man tortured, you saw him killed, you saw him betrayed, but God is saying, I allowed that because I need to bring this into something else. So even though that it may appear with our human eyes that Satan prevailed, he hadn't.
Yeah.
He had not prevailed, right? When we look at Brother Daniel in this text, he's been captured. The Babylonians have decided that they're going to take all the things of God and use them for their idols and things. In our humanness, we would say that the enemies of God has prevailed. We know down the line that is not the case, but in the instant, Daniel doesn't have the privilege of being able to read his history, right? He was in it. Like we're in our lives right now. We can't tell what's going to happen tomorrow. He couldn't tell what was about to happen. He couldn't tell what things he was going to have to go through in order for God to bring him where he needed to be. But what looked to him as Satan is prevailing, because look at this. We're now slaves. The king has ordered us to his household to be even a greater slave. He's telling us he wants us to eat and drink and do all this stuff that we know is wrong. I'm about to defy this man. He could kill us for defying him. All these things. And in our humanness, we could say, the weapon that was formed against me has prevailed. But because, just like Medea said, because Daniel said, no, I'm going to stay with God. Whether hell freezes over, I'm going to stay with God. And because Daniel decided to stay with God, God blessed. He gave him favor. He rose him above all of the other young men that had come into the household. Michelle, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it also takes me back to your first question about compromising faith, because in situations that are adverse and they seem unbearably uneasy for me personally, I sometimes question my ability to walk through them. And I have to resort to looking at the Word of God to help me grow my faith in those circumstances. If I don't, I'm going to be compromising, because it's like, well, it is what it is. And it's going to be what it's going to be, rather than saying, nope, I'm walking on what God has given me and told me. And he said, and just start saying those promises.
Yes. That's the reason why it's important. I tell you guys this all the time. I'm elated that you decided to get the book and do the Bible study in the book. All of that is wonderful. I'm so happy that y'all here in the Bible study and you come on Thursday. All that's great. But see, I can't defeat no demons by myself. I don't have the power to change stuff in your life. I don't have the power to come into your life and get rid of those issues that I don't know nothing about. When we get into God's word for ourselves, we get weapons. We get the stuff we need to fight. So the next time that we see that weapon that has materialized itself in human form, right, come up against us, guess what the next thing is going to be? We're going to say, you know what? I just read this. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. You the weapon. You ain't prospering today. I'm good.